No, this is not a music video from one of the new wave bands. What we're listening to, in fact, is a speaker test tone from a special audio cassette tape that's designed to help you diagnose Buick audio systems. Hi, I'm Chuck McLennan for Buick Know-How. The cassette tape is part of the Delco Audio System Diagnostic Kit, essential tool number J39916. The kit also contains a special cassette that cleans the playback heads and other tape transport components of the cassette tape player. There's a container of cleaning fluid and a set of additional felt pads for the cleaning cassette. And a handy wax pencil is included for use with the diagnostic chart printed on the back of the kit's storage case. Later in this program, we'll look more at how to use the diagnostic kit. But first, I'd like to introduce you to one of the most exciting features you'll find in Buick's new model lineup, the 1995 Buick Family of Radios. The new family of radios incorporates many new features and controls that enhance the operation and the Buick owner's enjoyment of the sound system. There are 5 different new models, beginning with the base AM/FM stereo radio tuner, RPO code UM7. Next up the line, there's UN6, which combines the AM/FM stereo tuner with the cassette player. The 3 upscale radios have numerous additional features and are available with a cassette player, a CD player, or both cassette and CD. All the members of the new family of radios feature improved audio, a sleek new appearance, and redesigned controls. The controls and graphics are backlit for convenient nighttime operation. Let's run through the new controls and their functions. In addition to the usual volume and tuning controls, there are recessed bass and treble tone knobs. A light push causes the knob to pop out, so they can be adjusted to increase or decrease bass and treble. There are also 2 new recessed buttons for easily setting the hours and minutes on the digital clock. The 3 upscale radio options also have a new pop-out knob for fade, to adjust the relative volume of the front and rear speakers, and for balance, which adjusts the relative volume of the right and left speakers. The separate seek and scan buttons you may remember from previous model year radios are no longer used. On the new family bass cassette, there are now 2 seek buttons, while the 3 upscale models have a single seek rocker switch. When a seek switch is pressed momentarily, the tuner mutes the radio volume, then it searches higher or lower within the selected band for the next station of sufficient signal strength to be heard clearly. When a strong enough station is found, the tuner will stop, restore the volume setting, and remain tuned to that station. Although there is now no separate scan button, the scan function is still available by pressing and holding the seek button for more than 2 seconds. When the scan function is active, the sound is muted, while the tuner searches for the next strong station. It's similar to the seek mode, except that the tuner pauses at each station and restores volume so you can listen to each selection for about 5 seconds. If no station of sufficient signal strength is found after 1 loop around the band, the strength threshold is lowered and a second search loop is performed around the band. If a station of adequate strength is still not found during a second search, the tuner returns to the station that was playing before the scan function was engaged. The principal audio system control buttons, volume, AM/FM, seek, and P-scan, are duplicated on cars equipped with steering wheel mounted controls. The volume control knob on the ATC radios is motorized, so it rotates proportionately when volume is raised or lowered using the steering wheel mounted control. The steering wheel mounted scan button performs the same function as the P-scan button on the radio. The new radio tuners have 6 station preset buttons and a simplified procedure for programming preset stations. To store a station in the preset memory, simply use the AM/FM button to select the desired band, AM, FM1, or FM2. Then, use the tuning button or the seek button to tune to the desired station, and press and hold the desired preset button for 2 seconds. The preset number appears in the display when the preset station is stored. And that's all there is to it. You can store 6 AM stations and 6 FM stations on each of the 2 FM bands for a total of 12 FM presets. The stored preset stations are also retained in the system memory, even when battery power to the radio is interrupted for any reason. The preset station even has a separate scan button labeled P-Scan. When this button is pressed, the tuner scans through the preset stations in the selected band, pausing for 5 seconds at each one, just like in the regular scan mode. When the tuner reaches a station you like, simply press the P-Scan button again to stop scanning. One thing to remember is that, like the regular scan function, preset scan is dependent on station strength. So, if you travel beyond the broadcast range in your favorite stations, the tuner will no longer stop at those locations during the preset scan. But there's another new preset feature that will be particularly handy for Buick owners who frequently travel beyond the range of their favorite preset radio stations. When this auto set button is pressed, the tuner mutes the radio volume and automatically searches for the strongest local signals in the selected AM and FM band. The 6 strongest AM or 12 FM stations are entered in the preset memory locations, and the auto set indicator is illuminated in the display. The automatically selected stations can then be tuned by pressing the preset buttons, or, if you prefer, the P-Scan button can be used to scan through the automatically selected stations. To cancel the auto set function, just press the auto set button and the preset stations that were originally programmed are restored. One of the most notable features of the 3 new top-of-the-line sound systems is something called automatic tone control, or ATC. ATC is activated by pressing the tone button and selecting one of the 7 possible tone settings. These are classical, pop, rock, jazz, talk, country and western, and finally, manual. Selecting a tone adjusts the settings on the system's built-in equalizer. If you're familiar with hi-fi audio equipment, you probably know an equalizer is a sophisticated tone control that divides the audio spectrum into several frequency bands that can be adjusted individually. In this typical unit, designed for home use, there are 10 adjustable frequency bands for each channel. Different musical instruments, voices, and other sources produce sounds with different frequency characteristics. Low-pitched instruments, such as basses, bass drums, and tubas, occupy the low frequencies from around 30 to 150 hertz. Voices tend to be centered around the mid-range, between 250 hertz and 4 kilohertz. High-pitched instruments, like flutes and piccolos, or violins and fiddles, fall mostly into frequencies from 12 kilohertz and above. The way sound frequencies are heard can also be greatly affected by the nature of the listening area. The size of the listening room, placement of speakers, wall and floor materials, furnishings, and so on, all affect how loudly the listener hears certain frequencies. In a typical living room, for example, carpets, chairs, curtains, and other soft furnishings tend to absorb sound, particularly the higher frequencies. On the other hand, hard surfaces, such as windows, tiles, painted walls, and ceilings, reflect sound waves, making music in the mid-range and higher frequencies appear louder. Equalizers are often used by audiophiles and professional sound engineers alike to compensate for the listening area by boosting and cutting various frequencies so that voices in the entire range of musical instruments can be heard equally. This process is often referred to as obtaining a flat frequency response. When Buick radios with automatic tone control are installed at the assembly plant, the internal equalizer is adjusted to match the dimensions and other characteristics of the particular car interior where the system will be enjoyed. As you probably know, some of the Delco sound systems that were available in previous model year Buicks had 5-band graphic equalizers that the owners could adjust to their own tastes. However, extensive surveys of owners with these systems reveal that the majority of those people either didn't understand or simply didn't bother to use these equalizers. In response to this situation, acoustical engineers at Delco Electronics set out to devise a more straightforward method that all owners could employ to fully enjoy the superb audio benefits of Buick's new family of radios. Automatic tone control was the result of these efforts. The equalizer in the ATC units has 7 frequency bands ranging from 40 Hz at the bass end to 12 kHz on the treble side. The majority of the sounds in broadcast and recorded material fall within this range. Let's begin with the classical automatic tone control setting. In this mode, all the equalizer bands remain in the flat position, as set when the radio is installed. This neutral setting allows the fullest reproduction of the many frequencies contained in music played by a large orchestra with a full range of instruments. The pop setting boosts treble for a brighter response. In the rock setting, the bass is boosted to emphasize the heavier bass guitar and bass drum characteristics commonly found in rock music recordings.
We built this city on rock and roll.
Jazz retains the bass, but also boosts the high frequencies to enhance the brass, high piano, and cymbal sounds common in jazz music. To emphasize the tone characteristics of speech, the talk setting boosts the mid-frequency 250 Hz, 625 Hz, and 1.6 kHz bands, while cutting the high treble 12 kHz and the low 40 and mid 100 Hz bass bands. The country and western tone provides a moderate bass and mid-range setting with a high treble boost to bring out the highs so common in country guitar, fiddle, and pedal steel sounds.
Down the river to Cajun Hideaway.
Keep in mind, though, that the frequency sensitivity of human ears varies from one person to another. Also, our hearing changes with age. Men in particular become less sensitive to high-frequency sounds as they grow older. Then again, people just simply have different tastes in the way they prefer music to sound. So the only absolutely correct way to adjust the tone setting on any sound system is to have it just the way you want it. For this reason, the new family of radios also incorporates a manual setting. If none of the preset tones is found to be satisfactory, the customer can easily select a custom equalization by simply using the tone controls. The system automatically reverts to the manual setting anytime the bass and treble controls are adjusted from their center detent position. Manually adjusting the bass tone control boosts or cuts audio level in the 40 and 100 Hz bands. Similarly, the treble tone control boosts or cuts audio in the 12 kHz band. When the manual controls are used, the remaining 4 frequency bands are automatically set to the center or flat position. When a radio station is stored in preset memory, the automatic tone control setting that is currently selected is also stored with the station frequency. The preset automatic tone setting is restored anytime that frequency is selected by any means. The cassette players used with the Buick family of radios also have many standard features. They're all automatically reversing units, and all are equipped with the Dolby B noise reduction for reducing playback background tape noise on Dolby B encoded recordings. A Dolby on-off switch is provided on the number 6 preset button. The previously used CR02 bias switch is no longer necessary. The new cassette players automatically sense the type of tape in the cassette, so if you insert a chromium dioxide tape, the frequency bias is automatically equalized for the clearer sound associated with this type of metal tape. All the cassette players have a power end load feature that reduces the risk of damage. When a cassette is inserted in the deck, the mechanism senses its presence and automatically finishes loading the tape. There's also an error warning system that detects when a tape is broken or too tight. When these conditions are detected, the display shows ERR for error, ejects the tape, and returns to the radio mode. The cassette players in the 3 radios with automatic tone control also have buttons that allow you to search quickly through the selections on a tape. Pressing the previous button rewinds the tape to the beginning of the selection currently being played, or if the current selection has been played for less than approximately 10 seconds, the tape rewinds to the beginning of the previous selection. Pressing Seek down when the unit is in the tape mode has the same effect as the previous button. When the next button is pressed, the cassette player searches for the next recorded selection after the one that is currently playing. Pressing Seek up when the unit is in the tape mode has the same effect as the next button. Remember though, when playing home recorded tapes, there must be a blank spot of at least 3 seconds between recorded selections for the previous and next functions to operate properly. Pressing the side button reverses the playing direction of the tape. Just a few more points on the cassette player operation. When the fast forward or fast rewind buttons are pressed, the system switches to the radio mode. The radio continues to play until the end of the current side is reached, and the first track on the next side begins to play. To stop fast forward or rewind and listen to the tape from the new position, you can press the source button. Pressing the source button when the tape is playing pauses the tape and returns audio to the radio mode. On models equipped with compact disc or CD players, the source button can be used to switch between the radio and the CD player. On models equipped with both the CD player and cassette player, the source button can be used to switch between the radio, the cassette tape, and the CD player. The source button can also be used to access a multiple play 12-disc CD changer that's available for Regal, LeSabre, and Park Avenue models. As on previous model year radios, the recall button can be used to select what appears in the radio display, but on the new family of radios, you can also change the default display. In the factory set default position with the radio off, the display shows the clock. When the radio is turned on, the display changes to show the frequency setting for the station tuned, then reverts to the clock. If you prefer to change the display so that it remains on the radio station, press the recall button to bring up the frequency display, then press and hold the button till the display flashes. Now each time the radio is turned on, the radio station will be displayed. When a cassette is inserted, the display will revert to the clock. When a CD is inserted, the recall button allows you to adjust the display between the clock and CD information. By pressing the button, the display can be changed to show which track is currently playing or the elapsed playing time on the disc. Pressing and holding the recall button for 2 seconds in any setting causes the display to remain in that setting. All of the new cassette players also have a built-in head cleaning reminder. Actually, for optimum performance, Delco recommends that the internal tape heads, capstan, and pinch roller of a cassette player be cleaned after each 15 hours of use. However, cleaning every 50 hours is generally sufficient to help prevent damage to the playback unit. After each 50 hours of playing time, the cleaning reminder in the cassette player flashes the clean and tape indicators for 5 seconds. We'll look at the actual cleaning procedure a little later. After cleaning the heads, simply hold the tape eject button for 5 seconds to reset the clean indicator. Oh, by the way, unlike some earlier models, the tape does not eject when the ignition is switched off. Instead, the playback heads are retracted to prevent mechanical jams and the possible tape damage that could result. When the radio is turned on, you can simply press the source button to resume listening to a tape from the position it was in when the play function was interrupted. You should also note that on ATC radios, when a cassette is ejected, then reinserted, it resumes playing in the default forward direction. So, it may be necessary to press the side button to reverse play direction and resume listening from the point where you ejected the tape. On the base model UN6 radio cassette player, the cassette is still ejected when the ignition is turned off. As we've seen, Buick's new family of radios includes 2 models equipped with compact disc or CD players. Model UNO substitutes the CD player for the cassette deck, while the top-of-the-line model, UPO, combines both CD and cassette players. The CD player senses when a disc is inserted halfway into the slot, and the player's mechanism completes the loading process. If the disc is accidentally inserted the wrong way up, the player automatically ejects the disc and displays the error signal in the display. The 3 top upscale models in the new Buick family of radios are equipped with the Theft Lock theft deterrent feature. As you may recall from previous model years, when the Theft Lock feature is active, it locks the radio so it cannot be turned on after battery power has been removed. This is so that if someone were to remove the system from the car, it would be unusable. Now, before engaging Theft Lock for the first time, the owner should first write down a security code number anywhere between 000 and 999. For convenience, I'll choose 123 as my code. Let's run quickly through the rest of the procedure for setting up Theft Lock. With the ignition switch turned on, check that the radio is turned off. Press preset buttons 1 and 4 at the same time until 3 dashes appear in the display. From this point, each of the remaining steps must be completed within 15 seconds of the previous step. Press the clock setting minute button and 3 zeros will appear. Press the minute button again and hold it in till the last 2 digits of the desired code appear. Then, press and hold the hours button until the first digit of the desired code appears. When the displayed code matches the one selected, press the AM/FM button. The letters REP will appear on the displays, meaning that you should repeat the code entering steps. So, again, I'll press minutes, then hold till I see the last 2 digits of my code. Then hold the hours button to set my first digit. Then press the AM/FM button. When the same code is entered a second time, the display will show SEC to indicate Theft Lock is set and the system is secured. Also, the Theft Lock LED indicator will flash when the ignition is off. The paper with the security code written on it should be kept in a safe place for future reference. If battery power to the radio is interrupted for any reason, while Theft Lock is activated, the radio will lock up and not play until my code or a Delco factory code is entered. When the radio is locked and power is returned, the letters LOC will appear on the display. I can unlock the anti-theft system by entering my security code using the minute and hours button. Then, within 15 seconds, I press the AM/FM button and the unit is unlocked and the secure symbol is displayed. To disable Theft Lock, all I have to do is enter my code starting with this display and following the same procedure I just used to enter my code and unlock the system. When Theft Lock is successfully disabled, 3 dashes will appear when the AM/FM button is pressed with the radio off. As I mentioned at the beginning of the program, a diagnostic test kit is now supplied as an essential tool. Oh, and before I go on, here's one important thing to note about the tape provided with the kit. Side 1, Active Audio System Diagnostics, is specifically intended for use with the active audio systems found in some Cadillac models. Side 2, Audio System Diagnostics, contains the tests that can be used with the Buick new family of radios. The cassette tape contains sections of recorded tones that can be of particular value in testing a car's speaker systems. Let's listen. For convenience, audio instructions for using the tape are also recorded on the cassette. The test tones are a 50 Hz bass tone for testing the bass response of the system. Then there's a 500 Hz warble tone for evaluating mid-range speaker response. Next comes a high 9 kHz spectral tone for checking the tweeters. There's also a combination signal that provides all three of the previous tones at the same time. This combination tone can be used for testing for distortion or lack of sound from individual speakers. Also, with the balance and fade control set in the center detent position, you can play the combination tone while using a DVOM to measure and compare the AC current flow from the amplifier at the individual speaker terminals. The sweep tone, that's the one we heard at the very beginning of the program, is useful for diagnosing speaker and grill rattles. The next item on the tape is a timed 2-minute musical segment that enables you to use a stopwatch to check the playback speed of the cassette tape motor.
Four, 3, 2, 1, mark. Get ready to stop your watch on the mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
Following the motor speed test is a short discussion on tape cleaning. The cleaning cassette provided with the Audio System Diagnostic Kit offers a quick and convenient method for cleaning the head. All I have to do is put 1 or 2 drops of the provided cleaning solution on each of the cassette felt pads. Then, I insert the cassette in the player and let it play for 30 to 40 seconds. When the 40 seconds is up, press the side button to reverse the direction and play for a further 30 to 40 seconds. The final section of the test tape is a period of blank space. This portion of the tape can be useful in finding and isolating noises such as generator whine, switch pops and the like that occur when the tape player is running. Noise, of course, is one of the most common sources of complaints from automotive sound systems. You'll find several noise diagnostic charts reproduced in the Buick Know-How reference manual that accompanies this program. A noise sniffer is an easily constructed and very useful device for finding noises that enter the radio through the antenna. I'll show you. The sniffer can be made from an old piece of antenna lead-in wire. A longer piece works best since it's more flexible. Just strip back the last 2 inches or so of coating and braided shielding wire from the end of the coaxial cable. To use the sniffer, I'm going to have to unplug the radio antenna from the back of the radio. So, first I need to remove the IP trim panel. Before I unplug the antenna, I'll turn on the radio and listen to the complaint noise. Now I'll remove the radio antenna cable and replace it with the sniffer. Then, with the volume turned up, I can hold the sniffer wire parallel to the wiring harness, like this, and run it along the harness till I find a hot spot that causes the static noise through the speakers to increase. On Park Avenue, you can also unplug the radio antenna here at the connector, behind the storage compartment on the passenger side. This may be a convenient way to disconnect the antenna to check if noise is coming from the antenna. For more details on sound system noise and other diagnostic procedures, refer to the Buick Know-How Reference Manual and the Delco Electronics Audio Systems Diagnostics Guide. I would also recommend that you take a look at Know-How number 154, which deals extensively with radio noise diagnosis and audio system grounding problems. I'm sure you'll agree that the new Buick family of radios have the potential to add to the satisfaction customers feel when they purchase a 1995 Buick. I urge you to take a few minutes to familiarize yourself with the controls so you can confidently answer any questions your customers may have. I'll see you in the next Buick Know-How.